Hello and welcome to Summer Camp Culture TV. I'm your host, Matt Ralph. I'm the editor of summercampculture.com, a blog devoted to tracking the intersection between summer camp and pop culture. Well, this is our third episode of the video version of the blog, and I'm recording this in the beginning of June, which where I live is sort of the end of the school year, and in other parts of the country I realized school's already let out, so summer camp has already begun in some places. Not in my part of the country. I don't really think of summer camp until it's actually summer in middle to late June, but I know other places it's kind of like spring/summer camp. But Memorial Day was recently happened, and that was the kind of the unofficial start of summer. We basically start tracking summer, and we get excited for the summer season. So definitely an exciting time to kind of get ready for summer camp for those of you who are involved as counselors, those of you who are involved as directors. You're really gearing up for the summer. Those of you who are young enough to be campers, you're counting down the days and you're getting ready to pack, figuring out all the things you need to bring, maybe getting your camp trunk. You're getting all the stuff that you need together to be away at camp, either for a week or for the whole summer. So it's a really exciting time. And recently I've been doing some traveling and some vacationing myself. So it's just a really exciting time, part of the year to get out and to do some fun things. I also recently helped celebrate a T-shirt day for a camp that the Summer Camp Culture followers would be very familiar with, and that's actually the shirt I'm wearing for the show today. It's Camp Tamakwa, and Camp Tamakwa is located in Ontario, Canada, and it's known for its frequent interactions with pop culture. Camp Tamakwa was the film location for the early 90s movie Indian Summer, which is about a bunch of former campers who were invited back by the camp director to spend the weekend and kind of reminisce about their camp days, and in the end he announces his retirement. So that whole movie was filmed actually at Camp Tamakwa, which, as far as, you know, pop culture and summer camps go, Tamakwa pretty much takes the cake with that one, because not only was it filmed there, you know, you see scenes where it shows the name of the camp, and you don't actually really see a whole lot of T-shirts in there like the one I'm wearing, but you do get to see the camp, how it is, and it's a beautiful camp I'd love to visit someday. But they sent me one of these shirts, so I feel like I'm an honorary Camp Tamakwa, and they recently celebrated their T-shirt day that they do every year, and so I was able to participate in that. So a special thank you and a shout out to the folks at Camp Tamakwa.
Feel uncomfortable, you let me know, all right?
Pete?
How strange. There's nobody here.
Bit of a slob, isn't he?
All brilliant men are.
Shelley?
Father, oh mercy.
Father?
Annie, there is a dark spirit here that wants to destroy you. Your salvation lies there.
What is it, Uncle Lou? What do you see?
Boy, there's nothing like a good moose.
Nothing like a good moose. Yeah.
Uncle Lou, were we staring at the moose, or was the moose staring at us?
That's a good question, Matt. Probably a little bit of both. What do you think?
Yeah,
that
definitely.
makes a lot of
I think
sense.
a little both. Yeah, a little bit of both.
How am I supposed to become this Mr. Sensitive Man?
You know we're all gonna go to college as virgins. You realize this, right? I mean, they probably have special dorms for people like us.
All right, I got an idea. But it's gotta stay between us. It's really simple. We just gotta make an agreement. Or, no, it's more than an agreement.
What, a bet?
A pact. No money involved, more important than any bet.
Busted.
So basically, prom is our last chance.
Oh, dude, prom sucks.
I know, but you gotta think about it this way. I mean, all the parties afterwards, the chicks are gonna wanna do it.
Yeah, he's right. It's like, just like tradition or something.
Like the Rose Bowl.
So, that gives us...
Exactly 3 weeks to the day.
We're gonna do this.
All right, to the next step.
Next step.
Keebler recently introduced a new product, and it's the s'mores. It's a sandwich cookie, naturally and artificially flavored, and there's actually two. I found two of these. It's a peanut butter and original. And I have to say, the original is better, but in a lot of ways, it's basically like a sandwich cookie covered in chocolate. I can show you an example here of what it looks like. If I can get one of these out of here. So it's basically like, you know, a square cookie, and it's covered in chocolate. And there's some marshmallow in between two cookies. It's pretty good, but it doesn't beat the real thing. I would also say it's much better in milk. The peanut butter one doesn't really taste a whole lot like s'mores. It's basically similar to the other one, and it just has peanut butter. It's like basically tastes kind of like a peanut butter sandwich cookie. You know, in between chocolate. It's still good. I mean, it's a cookie. If you like store-bought cookies, it's okay. It's nothing compared to my own mom's cookies or cookies I make in my oven. But you know, if you're looking for a snack that's, you know, kind of reminds you of camp and you like that s'mores taste, I would check out the original by Keebler, and I would definitely recommend dipping it in milk. One of the things I love about summer, beyond the obvious, is that it's a great time to get caught up on some reading. You know, you vacation, you spend time in the outdoors, you bring a book along, and I'm a big reader. I love reading, and I love books, especially ones made out of trees. And I haven't gotten into the whole, you know, reading on a tablet or anything, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I just love a good book, and I love to hold it in my hand. And so, you know, this time of year, a lot of you'll see a lot of lists of great summer reads or books to take to the beach with you. Well, I wanted to do a list of books that I recommend that I have here that if you want your books to sort of have a little bit of a summer camp theme, these are some books that you could check out and bring with you to the beach or bring with you to camp this summer and read. Now, the first book here I want to talk about is a classic, and this you might have to go on eBay to buy this. This is Salute Your Shorts: Life at Summer Camp, and it's written by Thomas Hill and Steve Slavkin. And the interesting thing about this book is the name is, yes, the Salute Your Shorts that you think of when you think of the Nickelodeon, the 90s Nickelodeon television show. It was inspired by this book. And it's just funny memories for campers past and some just different anecdotes about summer camp that's fun to read. And so, you know, this is something you can kind of take along, or you can throw it on your coffee table if you want to do that too. But it's something I would recommend you checking out for the summer. Another book which I really love, a recent book which I talked about in my year-end review of pop culture from 2013, is a book called Fun Camp by Gabe Durham. And this is just a great little book, and it's a book I would recommend, especially for camp directors, because it doesn't read as a straight narrative, but it's a kind of a collection of different types of writing. It's kind of, I would call it creative prose, and it's really witty, and it's really sharp, and it's really funny. And anyone who's experienced camp, particularly adults, those of us who are adults who have worked at camps and went to camp as campers, will appreciate the humor and the insight that's offered in this book. Free Tag on the Highway is a book that I would definitely not recommend for necessarily parents of summer campers, but if you like a good novel that's set at camp but that's a little dark. This is actually set at the fictional camp Wazicha. I had to look at the book to make sure I know how to pronounce it. And it's a camp director who's doing things the exact wrong way. So this is one of those cautionary tales of a character who is just really gone off the rails, who can't be trusted, who should not be supervising children. And it's an interesting read. It's if you're into something a little more edgy, something a little darker with your summer reading. Jane Roper's Eden Lake is a book from a couple years ago that I really love. It's set at a camp, and it's set up Eden Lake is the camp, and it's a story about family. It's a story about losing a loved one and a camp kind of being passed on to the next generation, or possibly or not. And there's sort of a the passage of time and the tradition, and kind of what's going to happen with all that because of the death in the family. And it's a wonderful novel that I would definitely recommend for checking out if you like to read novels and you love summer camp. One of my favorite books is a classic by Herman Wouk, who you've probably heard of. He's a well-known author who's written a lot of books, and including another book that had a brief interaction with summer camp, which was the book that was also inspired a movie, Marjorie Morningstar. And this is City Boy: The Adventures of Herbie Bookbinder. And Herbie Bookbinder is one of my favorite literary characters. He's this precocious young man who leaves the city and goes to the country to a camp and really just takes the camp by storm, and has a lot of adventures and misadventures while he's at camp. And it's a wonderful book. It's probably one of the closest things you could say if there's a summer camp literature. This would probably be the one that would has stood the test of time. The more current one that I would say you've most likely heard of if you're into books in any way is Meg Woltzer's The Interestings. And this is a book that I've also spoken highly of before. One of my favorite books that I read last year in 2013. And it's just a wonderful book. It's about a group of young people who meet at a summer arts camp in New England and become really good friends, and it sort of follows the trajectory of their lives through the many years that pass after camp, and the bonds they have, and the things that occur, kind of the different directions they go in. And it asks a lot of really interesting questions about life and about talent and about skill, about ambition. It's a book that's set at summer camp initially and has that sort of running throughout, that theme. But it's a great book that I would recommend regardless of of whether you have an interest or not in summer camp. But this is one of the best books of 2013. So if you haven't had a chance to read, I would recommend picking up a copy and bringing it along with you in your summer travels. The last book I wanted to talk to mention is The Inverted Forest, which is another. It's by John Dalton, and it's another book that's kind of more on the dark side, and is set at summer camp, and it's the whole time you're reading it, you know something bad is going to happen. You're not exactly sure how. You're not exactly sure who's going to do it, but it's kind of a mysterious novel that really kind of gets you going and trying to see what's going to happen. And when it happens, it's kind of difficult to completely take it all in, but it's a wonderfully written book that does a lot of the things that you would expect a novel to do. A lot of twists and turns, and kind of shows humanity and on a lot of different levels. And it's not necessarily a yay summer camp book, but it does it's set at summer camp, and I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was a wonderfully written novel that would also be a good beach read. Now, there's a whole bunch of other books that I would recommend if you were looking for books for kids to read, or books that are more on the level of yay summer camp. But these are ones that if you're looking for just a good novel to read, or a good laugh, or an easy read like a Salute Your Shorts or a Fun Camp, these are the books that I would recommend. And I actually have some more titles that I would recommend that I'll be writing about on the blog. So stay tuned for that.